Hi guys, welcome to my updated video of how to file your taxes. My name is Nokuhle Kumalo and I make educational videos on personal finance, careers and how to adult. So I have done a video like this in the past. However, I thought it'd be great to do an updated version just in case there have been changes on the e-filing system, but also to give you guys a bit of an in-depth tutorial of how to use the e-filing portal. Please remember that none of my videos constitute financial advice. If you do want financial advice, you need to speak to someone who is registered with the FSCA. And if you'd like someone to help you file your taxes, so if you believe it's a bit too complicated, might be your first time doing this, or you might have had some big change in the tax year, whether you started a new side hustle and you're not really sure how to account for this income, or you recently retired, or perhaps you just became a provisional taxpayer, there are people who are able to help you. Make sure it's a registered tax practitioner. I will leave some resources in my description box that you can look at. I'll also update these throughout the year, so even if you're watching this at a later stage, please do feel free to check out the description box because I do update this frequently. In today's video, we'll be covering the following. 1. Who needs to submit a tax return? 2. Why we submit taxes and where to submit. 3. The documents needed for your first registration. 4. Documents needed to file your annual submission. And then 5, I'll give you a quick tutorial of how to enter the amounts on the e-filing portal. And then lastly, I'll cover some frequently asked questions. Special thank you to the CarTrack team who have actually sponsored this video. I'll be talking to you guys a bit more about them and how they can actually help make your tax filing process a bit easier on top of actually tracking your car. But for now, let's get into the video. Alright, firstly, who needs to submit a tax return? Any person who is employed within a tax year is required to submit their tax return. However, you'll find that there are certain thresholds where people who earn below that amount do not actually have to pay any tax. However, SARS does recommend that you still do file your taxes just in case your employer has withheld taxes. In this case, you'll probably be entitled to a refund and SARS will be able to pay you out if you submitted your tax return. If you're not sure of whether you should be submitting your taxes or if you're within this threshold, please make sure you check out the link that I have left in the description box. This is a SARS questionnaire, or you can Google, do I need to submit a return? And you should be able to find their article on their website. This questionnaire allows you to answer a couple of questions, and at the end of it, they'll tell you whether you do need to submit or not. Why do we submit and where can we make such submissions? So SARS stands for the South African Revenue Services, and they basically collect money on behalf of the country, and this money is used to contribute towards its growth. Remember, there are many different types of taxes, so if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to file your pay-as-you-earn tax, which is tax on your earnings. However, there's also VAT, customs tax, donations tax, dividends tax, capital gains tax, estate duty, so tax when you die, and many, many more. I also want to highlight right now that South Africa has one of the most sophisticated tax systems, so just do the right thing, and if you're confused, definitely consult with a professional. You are able to submit your taxes in 3 different ways. Firstly, the e-filing website. There's also the SARS Mobi app. And then lastly, you're able to set up an appointment and go physically into a SARS branch. In this video, I'll be taking you guys through the e-filing using the website. I find that this one was the easiest one to use, whereas the Mobi app sometimes just redirects you to the website anyways. Cool, let's continue. When it comes to documents, I'd highly encourage that you try and collect your documents in a separate folder, just so that when you are ready on the e-filing portal, you're uploading easily. Make sure that every document that you're collecting has been saved under the correct name. This will make it easier when you're uploading. When you're opening an e-filing profile for the first time, the documents you'll need are a copy of your ID. This could be a photo of your ID or it could be scanned. A bank statement, not older than 3 months. Proof of residence. Try not to use your bank statement because they've already requested this. Sometimes they'll also request you to upload a picture of you holding up your ID. This is just to verify that you are truly the correct person to be creating this profile. Once you've uploaded these pictures, there may be a couple of questions that they ask you. So some of them are capture your PIT. This is your personal income tax number. Second question they'll ask you is for you to submit your bank account details. I'd really recommend that you use a bank account that you know you're going to keep for a long time, or an account that you use primarily, because what usually happens is sometimes people have multiple bank accounts and they'll put any random one. However, in the future they might not use it or it might be closed, and when SARS releases refunds in the future, if you ever qualify, they'll automatically disperse into this bank account that you've put in there. So make sure you're using an account that you are regularly using, and if you do change it, make sure you are updating on your e-filing profile. And then last question will be around travel allowance. They'll ask if you've received one. Please remember that if you receive a travel claim that is reimbursed, so basically it's the non-taxable rate of 484 times the kilometers you travel, this isn't necessarily a travel allowance, it's more a reimbursement. People who receive a travel allowance usually keep a logbook and they'll know about it. If you're not sure, you can also consult someone within your HR department. Once you've uploaded all of these documents and answered all of these questions, you need to wait a couple of days, usually it's about 3 business days, and then you'll receive an SMS or email from SARS telling you that your submission has been successful. Then you'll be able to move on to the next step where we log into the eFILING portal to actually submit our return. I just want to circle back onto travel allowances, guys. I know that this does sometimes get a bit confusing, and I remember as an employee, but also right now as a business owner, it's very hard to decipher between your business kilometers versus your personal kilometers, and a lot of us usually just opt for the reimbursement option where you are paid the non-taxable rate of 484 times the actual kilometers you traveled, and we usually use like your Google Maps where you calculate the distance between your home and your client, and then you get that as a reimbursement based on your company's policies. However, there is the option of actually requesting a travel allowance, which is usually sometimes higher in terms of your claim. You usually get a lot more money out of it. However, it requires you to keep really great track of your business versus personal kilometers. And I know I've always thought in the past that there's no way I would do this, because I can't imagine keeping a physical logbook and having to jot down my mileage every morning before work and every evening when I get back. And knowing me and how late I am almost every single morning, I know that there'd be mornings where I forget to do this. So I was just like, oh, it's fine, I'll just choose the reimbursement option because it's simpler. However, with the use of CardTrack, there are actually some special features like the logbook reports. Let me actually show you quickly how easy it is to add notes on business trips. And then at the end of the month, I can pull a report to compare business versus personal kilometers, giving me an accurate reflection of all my travels, which is what would be required for the travel allowance option. This feature is handy for both employees and business owners, and I can't believe I've actually been sleeping on it. But I remember I told myself that 2024 was the year where I'm using everything I pay for, so I'm really glad that I saw this. If you've used the logbook feature before, please do let us know in the comments how it's treated you. And if this is the first time you're hearing about the logbook feature on CardTrack, drop a comment down below and say logbook for the win, so that the CardTrack team can see that we appreciate their efforts. I've actually also done another video in the past, I think it was the top 10 affordable cars, where I mentioned the car watch feature. So if you don't know what I'm talking about or you're interested, make sure you click on the link in my description box where it will show you my journey with CardTrack, some of my favorite features, and it also gives you the option to join the CardTrack family to protect your 4-wheel baby. If you'd like more information on this, make sure you're clicking the link in my description box and a CardTrack agent will call you. You'll also get your free installation. Alright, cool. Let's continue with the rest of the video. Let's move over into the documents that you will need when you are filing your annual submission. 1, you'll need your IRP5 document or your IT3A. These you should have received from your employer, and if you haven't received these, please do make sure you nudge them and ask them to send them to you, because this document will play a big role in filing your return. The IRP5 document and the IT3A document are documents that show all the income that you've received, as well as all the deductions and pay as you earn that has been withheld from you during the year. I will show you an example of an IRP5 document when you're doing the tutorial. However, these do not always follow the same structure. The next documents that you need to get are any of your investments or bank interest tax certificates. So if you have any money saved somewhere earning interest, or you have any money invested, so you're potentially earning dividends, you need to make sure that you are obtaining these tax statements. So usually the companies where you have these funds kept in will send you these tax certificates. Otherwise, you should be able to log on to whatever portfolio you have or app and request these tax certificates. And then lastly, any proof of additional medical expenses that you've had to pay. So sometimes your medical aid will not cover everything and your pharmacist will tell you to keep this safe so that you can claim for taxes. This is that moment, so make sure you've kept all of your receipts so that you can add them up and show the taxman that these are expenses you had to pay out of pocket because your medical aid did not want to cover. Now for the fun part, let's actually move on to the SARS eFILING portal to show you how you can navigate this. So what will happen is you will log into your eFILING portal, and then you will scroll to the bottom. You will see that there is a personal income tax ITR 12, and then on my one I also have a provisional income tax IRP 6. Most of you will not have this provisional income tax portion because you're not provisional taxpayers, but cool. Let's continue. Let's just look at the personal income tax portion. I'll be using the 2022 RP5 document that I used the last time I was employed in South Africa, but just to show you the questions, I'm going to click on the 2024 one. So as you can see, return status says issued. Everything else says filed, because I've actually done my tax returns, but the one that says issued actually shows me that I have not done it. And if you look, the due date is 2024-10, which is October 21. Cool. If you click on that, first get this wizard, you can read it and close it. But you will get to this page, and at the top you have your taxpayer reference number. That should be your tax number, and then year of assessment is 2024. Guys, just on year of assessments, I just want to emphasize the tax year runs from the 1st of March and ends on the 28th of Feb in the following year. So currently we are filing for the tax year that ended on 28 February 2024. If you're watching this in 2025, you will be filing until the year end 28 February 2025. Slightly confusing, but don't worry, you'll get it. You'll see that there's a lot of red. There's standard questions, taxpayer information, bank details, employee tax certificates, RP5 or IT3A. I told you about this. Then at the bottom, there's taxpayer information, income. Okay, so you have to expand all of these red blocks because at the end of this, everything needs to be blue. So you expand your standard questions and they'll ask you things. Did you receive any form of remuneration for foreign services rendered? And then just read through everything, guys. Do you want to claim donations made to approved organizations in terms of Section 18A? Were you unemployed? Did you receive income that is reflected on a certificate? How many certificates did you receive? So if you have 2 jobs, you're probably going to write 2. This way you can actually submit them separately later on. And then employee certificate information. This is where I want us to go into detail on. You also probably be pre-populated because your employer actually submits information to SARS every 6 months. If it's not pre-populated, then you can insert it, but make sure you're inserting details that agree to your IRP5 document. So I'm just going to quickly show you my IRP5 document. I've used an old one, okay, and I've kind of blurred out the personal information so that you guys don't dox me. This is my IRP5 document, and the reason I know this is because it's written here at the top, IRP5. And I told you guys I'm using my 2022 one because this was my last year where I was formally employed in South Africa. It'll tell you the type of certificate, and it also has a certificate number. The reason I'm highlighting all of these things is because when you go onto your tax portal, again, I'm editing the IRP5, which is under the employee tax certificate information. I've got the name of my employer, okay, and then this is the certificate number. So this number you're seeing here will agree to the number you are seeing here. Okay, but when you look at an IRP5, it'll show you the total income you've made for the year, as well as all the deductions you've received, the tax that's been paid throughout the year, etc. So what I want to draw your attention to are these things, the source codes, and they are there next to all the numbers. So you see pay as you earn is 4102, but the income that you earn, which I've obviously blurred out, is 3601, and then there's some that goes to 3702. These are all different tax codes that kind of determine how it's treated by SARS. So let's just assume for this source code 3601, let's assume I had 150,000. Okay, and then let's assume that this one was 240. I'm not even sure what these are. When you go to your actual tax return, actually compare and verify that 3601 truly does have an amount of 150,000. Oy, that looks disgusting. Okay. And then for 3702, let's just assume that they said you have 240, like I mentioned. You'll go again and check 3702, 240. Okay, so the same principle applies even with your deductions. 4497, I don't think I had deductions. Yeah, I see my deductions are empty. But it would have been 4497 if I had anything. So when you are checking to see if something is correct, you're just trying to confirm that the source codes here with their corresponding amounts agree to what's been put on your tax return. So I just want to show you guys something. I did say if you have another job, like if you have more than one job or you have some side income, you might have more than one IRP5 document. So that was the case for me. And as you can see here, I've got a second one coming in from King James Advertising. Can't even remember what this is, but I know it had to do with the promotion that I probably did on YouTube. So they would have also sent me a tax certificate that I can compare against this, because some companies want to hold the tax for you, whereas others will say you need to declare it yourself. Cool. When you guys get to your investments, there are also SARS source codes at the end of these statements. So as you can see, there's a 4021, and that's the amount I must enter there. There's 4113, 4218, 4238. These source codes probably mean nothing to you right now, but when you're on the SARS portal and you are declaring your amounts, you will see why it's so important to actually understand these source codes and to actually make sure that you're putting in the correct amount. Okay, cool. I hope that this kind of helps you guys. I hope this gives you an idea of what to expect when you are checking. Even if you were auto-assessed, you can still check that they actually put in the correct details. Covering some frequently asked questions. Why did I not get a refund? I have done a video on this where I show you guys in detail how this is calculated and who should expect a refund. Please remember that a refund is not always guaranteed. You are not actually technically meant to be getting a refund every single year. So if you didn't get one, don't stress. This isn't out of the ordinary. You can check out that video for more. 2, some people might be asking why they were auto-assessed or why they weren't auto-assessed. I've also done a video on this which is in depth, which will show you the type of people who do get selected, so make sure you check that video out. 3, some people will ask what happens if you are an influencer or you earn commission or you're a freelancer or you work for an international company that does not withhold any tax or pay as you earn. I will actually be doing another video separately on how to file taxes as people who earn different amounts every single month. Chances are you probably have to be a provisional taxpayer because your income varies a lot, and you also have to submit twice a year, so your deadlines are usually different from normal taxpayers. So make sure you check out that video, and if you haven't subscribed, I'd recommend that you do that right now so that you don't miss when that video drops. Where can you find your tax number? You might find it on your payslip, on your e-filing portal. If you can't find it, you can also request it via the e-filing portal. And lastly, you can also call the SARS offices and they should be able to help you. What is the deadline of submitting your taxes? So the deadline changes every single year. However, if you're watching this in 2024, your deadline is the 21st of October 2024. If you're watching this in future years, please just make sure you're doing a quick Google search and you should be able to find it. What if you need more help? So SARS does have a YouTube channel that you can use that could potentially help you in filing your tax returns. However, there are also various creators who do similar videos as mine which help you in filing your tax returns and actually making payments. I know I also actually use these because sometimes I'm like, how do I make a payment? Because the e-filing portal isn't very user friendly, so make sure you check out those videos. But also remember, if you're unsure and you'd rather have a professional do your taxes for you, please do check the resources that I have in my description box. Whoever you go with, make sure you are using a registered tax practitioner who will be able to file your taxes accordingly, and be careful of the guys who guarantee you refunds because this is not something that they can do. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope that this video has been helpful. If it was, please do tip me with a like. And if you have any questions or there's any type of tax situation that you'd like me to cover, do drop me a comment below so that I know what to look out for when I'm doing my research. And then lastly, just a couple of reminders. Remember, I do have links for people who can help you if you want a tax practitioner to help you. And then 2, if you do want to check out CardTrack, I do have their link in my description box and you can easily sign up and they'll give you a call. And then lastly, guys, please make sure that you are checking the comments. I will also be making any comments and pin them if there's anything that I've left out of this video that I believe is really critical. Alright, cool. That's it for today. I hope this video has been useful. My name is Nokuhle Kumalo and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please tip me with a like, comment and subscription.